Beloved souls, let us pause for a moment and breathe into the truth that life is governed by order, and order is governed by laws. Laws that are invisible to the physical eye, yet more exact and unyielding than the very laws that keep the planets aligned in their courses. Just as gravity pulls with absolute certainty, just as electricity flows when the circuit is complete, so too does money, wealth, and abundance respond to spiritual laws. Money is not a mystery, nor a random accident, nor the privilege of the few. It is an obedient servant of consciousness, a reflection of the unseen patterns you hold in mind and heart, and it follows spiritual laws with unwavering fidelity. To know these laws is to move beyond chance, beyond fear, beyond struggle, and into the deliberate orchestration of abundance that already belongs to you. So many live under the illusion that money is scarce, that money is difficult, that money belongs to others and must be fought for or torn away. This illusion is a deep spell cast by fear and separation. But when you awaken to truth, you see that money is simply a form of energy. It is spirit condensed into form, spirit cloaked in symbols, spirit made measurable through the language of numbers. And like all energy, it vibrates, it responds, it flows to where it is welcomed, honored, and magnetized. The spiritual law is this: whatever you are in consciousness, whatever you affirm in unwavering faith, will find its reflection in form. Money is not the cause of anything, it is the effect. And the cause is always your state of being. To live in alignment with this law is to become a magnetic field so radiant that money cannot help but arrive. Think of yourself as an electromagnetic being, emitting signals into the infinite field of possibility. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs are frequencies, broadcasts that call forth matching experiences. If you think in poverty, if you tremble in fear of lack, you broadcast scarcity, and scarcity is drawn to you. But if you think in terms of abundance, if you breathe wealth as naturally as air, if you radiate gratitude as though the treasury of heaven has already opened to you, then abundance is summoned. It does not argue, it does not hesitate, it obeys. This is why it is said, as within, so without. Money follows the vibration of your inner world. Now, many will say, but I have affirmed, I have prayed, I have visualized, yet nothing happens. And I say to you, check the roots beneath the surface. A gardener may scatter seeds, but if beneath the soil he harbors stones and thorns, the harvest is hindered. So too with your consciousness. Affirmations spoken in words mean little, if beneath them lies the deep conviction of lack. You cannot trick the law, you cannot half believe and expect full results. The law is exact, impartial, and true. It mirrors not the words you say once or twice, but the vibration you hold steadily, the conviction you live by day and night. And yet, there is no condemnation in this, for the moment you choose to shift, the field responds. The law does not punish, it reflects. If you have struggled with lack, if you have believed in scarcity, it is not a mark against you. It is simply feedback. It is the universe saying, beloved, change the channel of your vibration, and you will see a new picture. And when you change, everything changes. Imagine a radio. If you tune to a frequency of despair, the music you hear is heavy and sorrowful. But the moment you shift the dial to joy, joy plays through. The station of wealth, the frequency of abundance, is already broadcasting. You need only tune to it by thought, emotion, and conviction. Consider the spiritual law of circulation. Money, like blood, must flow. If blood stagnates, the body falls ill. If money is hoarded in fear, if you clutch it as though it is your lifeline, you choke the very river meant to bless you. Money multiplies through circulation. When you spend with joy, when you give with faith, when you allow yourself to be a channel of generosity, you align with the flow. This does not mean reckless spending to prove worthiness. It means spending with consciousness, with joy, with the recognition that the supply is infinite, and that what leaves returns multiplied. Many have blocked their own good because they give reluctantly, fearing loss, or they spend with guilt, fearing judgment. But the law says, as you give, so shall you receive, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Think also of the law of imagination. Every form in this world, every house, every work of art, every invention, began in imagination. Imagination is the womb of creation. Money follows the pictures you hold there. If your imagination is full of worry, of unpaid bills, of doors closed in your face, then you are imprinting lack upon the ethers, and the ethers must bring it forth. But if your imagination is filled with radiant visions of wealth flowing easily, of opportunities opening, of abundance blessing your every step, then you are impressing those images upon the invisible substance of life, and they must clothe themselves in form. The clearer, the more consistent, the more emotionally charged your imagination, the swifter the manifestation. Here is another law of the law of gratitude. Gratitude is the magnet of miracles. When you give thanks for what is, and even more, give thanks for what is yet unseen, you create a field so potent that all good rushes to meet you. Gratitude is the recognition that supply already exists in the invisible, and your thankfulness is the claim ticket that brings it forth into visibility. It is not possible to be deeply grateful and remain in lack, for gratitude shifts your vibration instantly to abundance. Many wait to see results before they are grateful, but the wise soul gives thanks before, knowing that in spirit, it is already accomplished. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a cause. And money follows this cause with precision. Let us speak of faith, for faith is the cornerstone. Faith is not hoping, nor begging, nor trying, it is knowing. It is the inner vision that sees beyond appearances. Appearances may scream lack, your bank account may look barren, but faith says, these appearances are temporary. The unseen supply is already here. The law is working for me now. And as you hold that knowing, reality bends. Faith is the energy that collapses possibility into form. Without faith, your vibration wavers, your broadcast falters. With faith, it becomes a steady beam, a laser cutting through all resistance, commanding substance to obey. And do not forget the law of detachment. When you grip too tightly, when you demand that supply come in this way, at this time, through this channel, you strangle the flow. The law works best when you release, when you say, this or something better now manifests for me. I am open to infinite channels, and I trust the law to deliver in perfect ways. Many block their supply because they fixate on one person, one job, one opportunity as their source. But that is not your source. God is your source. Infinite intelligence is your source. The field of all possibilities is your source. Money is but one of its expressions, and it can flow through countless channels. When you release attachment, you open the gates to receive in ways you had never imagined. Do you see, then, that money is never a struggle? Struggle is born of ignorance of the law. The moment you understand that money follows spiritual laws, you step out of the game of chasing, grasping, fearing, and you step into the flow of magnetizing, allowing, and receiving. You become like the sun, radiating your conviction, and money, like the planets, revolves around you by law. This is not arrogance, this is truth. For you are not separate from the infinite. You are the very consciousness through which infinite supply reveals itself. There is also the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Your outer financial life is a mirror of your inner spiritual life. If chaos reigns in your finances, ask where in me is chaos. If order reigns, ask, what inner order have I nurtured? If you long for more, ask where am I withholding more from myself in consciousness? Every dollar, every coin, every flow in your life is a teacher, showing you the state of your inner law. And the beauty is, when you shift within, the mirror must shift without. Beloved, hear me clearly, money is not your master. It is your servant. It has no power of its own. It is given power by your consciousness, by the meaning you assign, by the vibration you hold. When you see it as master, you bow in fear, and it rules you. When you see it as servant, you command it with grace, and it obeys. The law ensures it cannot be otherwise. Command it with love, with clarity, with faith, and it follows. And so we go deeper into the remembrance that money, is not some elusive phantom hiding in the shadows of the world, waiting to appear for the few who stumble upon it by luck. It is a vibration, it is a reflection, it is a mirror, and it is obedient. The entire universe is a grand symphony of law, and in that symphony, money is but one instrument playing in harmony with your consciousness. When you rise into alignment with the higher laws, faith, imagination, gratitude, circulation, detachment, you summon that instrument into melody with you. Money cannot resist the magnetic force of a soul aligned with truth, for money is simply condensed spirit, and spirit is compelled to gather where it is recognized. Let us look at the great law of oneness. There is no separation in the divine order. All that exists flows from the one infinite mind. When you think of money as separate from you, when you imagine that wealth exists, out there, while you are, in here, striving to grasp it, you create division. But the truth is, wealth is within you because the source is within you. The field of abundance does not live across oceans, or behind locked doors, it lives in the vibration of your being. And when you recognize that the same intelligence that beats your heart, breathes your lungs, and orchestrates galaxies, also orchestrates the flow of money, then you stop chasing shadows, and instead become the channel through which wealth naturally appears. You are not here to beg for money. You are here to command it, not with arrogance, but with the humility of one who understands law. Just as a skilled musician commands the keys of a piano with grace, bringing forth harmony, so too can you command money by aligning with its law. It is not about greed, it is about harmony. Greed is born of fear of lack, but harmony is born of the knowledge that there is no lack in the infinite. There is enough supply to fulfill every need, every desire, every worthy vision. The only barrier is the illusion that there is not. Think of the subconscious mind, for it is the soil where all seeds are planted. The conscious mind speaks words, imagines pictures, and makes choices. But it is the subconscious that impresses these seeds upon the universal field. If you repeatedly speak words of lack, if you rehearse pictures of debt and struggle, your subconscious accepts them as truth and broadcasts them faithfully. The law responds and lack manifests. But if you impress upon the subconscious the images of wealth, the certainty of supply, the gratitude of abundance already here, then the subconscious broadcasts abundance, and the law responds in kind. The subconscious does not argue, it does not reason. It accepts what is impressed with emotion, repetition, and faith. Guard your subconscious as you would a precious treasure, for it is the gatekeeper of your financial destiny. Now hear this truth: money responds to clarity. Confusion repels supply, but clarity magnetizes it. When you are vague, I want more money someday, you send a scattered signal. The law reflects that vagueness with scattered results. But when you are clear, I am aligned with abundance now. I receive unexpected income in perfect ways. I allow wealth to flow into my life continuously. You send a laser beam of intention into the field. And the field, bound by law, shapes itself around that clear intention. Clarity is a form of faith. It is a declaration that you know what belongs to you, and that you are unafraid to claim it. Another law comes into play here: the law of assumption. What you assume as real, even before it appears, becomes reality. If you assume wealth, if you walk, breathe, and act as though you are already supported by infinite supply, then the law shapes circumstances to fulfill that assumption. Assumption is not fantasy, it is creation. It is choosing to dwell in the end result before it has appeared, knowing that appearances are only shadows of deeper truth. Walk as the wealthy walk, think as the wealthy think, not in arrogance but in serenity, in generosity, in confidence. The law cannot distinguish between what is real and what is assumed. It simply manifests the vibration you hold as true. Many resist this, saying, "But I cannot pretend I have money when I do not." But understand, it is not pretense, it is alignment. You are not lying to yourself, you are claiming truth in advance. Faith sees what the eyes do not yet see. The law waits for your claim before it delivers. If you insist on waiting to believe until you see, you reverse the law, and manifestation stalls. But when you believe first, when you assume with conviction, the law accelerates to prove your faith justified. Let us now call forth the law of praise. When you praise the wealth of others, when you rejoice in their abundance, you harmonize with that vibration. Envy blocks the flow, it says. That good belongs to them and not to me. But praise says, what I bless in another, I claim for myself. To see someone prosper and to rejoice in their prosperity is to align with the frequency of prosperity itself. The moment you resent another's wealth, you declare separation, and separation invites lack. But the moment you celebrate their success, you declare unity, and unity draws supply. The very cells of your body respond to these laws. When you speak words of wealth, your cells vibrate higher, your nervous system calms, your brain releases chemicals of joy, and your body becomes a vessel fit for abundance. When you speak words of lack, your cells contract, your body tenses, and you radiate resistance. The law is not only metaphysical, it is physiological. Wealth is not an idea floating in the sky, it is a lived state of harmony within your body, mind, and spirit. Align the inner temple, and the outer temple will overflow. Remember too the law of rhythm. Just as the tides ebb and flow, just as day follows night, money flows in cycles. There are times of inflow and times of outflow, and both are sacred. Many panic when outflow comes, believing they are losing. But loss is an illusion. Outflow is simply circulation, making room for new inflow. To resist rhythm is to suffer, to honor it is to prosper. Say to yourself, every dollar I spend returns multiplied. Every ebb is followed by a greater flow. I am never diminished, for I live in the rhythm of infinite supply. When you honor rhythm, fear dissolves, and money obeys the higher harmony. And finally, recognize the law of being. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you want wealth, become wealth in consciousness. If you want freedom, become freedom in vibration. If you want expansion, expand in spirit. The world is not withholding from you, it is reflecting you. The wealth you seek is already within, and the moment you embody it, the outer world rushes to mirror it back. The law does not delay, it responds instantly to being. Money follows spiritual laws with the same certainty that water flows downhill, that fire burns, that stars shine. You cannot beg water to flow upward, it will not. You cannot plead with fire not to burn, it will not. But when you align with their nature, you harness their power. The same is true of money. When you align with its laws, you harness its flow. And in that alignment, there is no more struggle, no more fear, no more chasing. There is only the serene knowing that as you live these laws, abundance is inevitable, unstoppable, eternal. Beloved ones, allow these truths to sink even deeper. For when the mind accepts them not as lofty ideals but as living reality, your life begins to reorganize itself. Everything around you bends to match the dominant rhythm you hold within. And so it is with money. When you are steeped in fear, it scatters like frightened birds. But when you are steeped in spiritual certainty, it settles near you like doves upon an open palm. This is not chance, not fate, not favoritism of the universe. This is law. Money follows spiritual laws, just as surely as light follows dawn. Let us dwell on the profound law of correspondence once more, for it is the bridge between thought and form. As within, so without, is not a poetic phrase, it is a precise formula. When within you cultivate order, generosity, expectancy, wealth consciousness, then without you see prosperity, opportunity, overflowing supply. If within you cultivate chaos, fear, bitterness, scarcity, then without you see confusion, lack, limitation. The world does not originate from outside. It emanates from the inside. And money, being part of that outer reflection, merely mirrors what has been consistently impressed within. Change the root, and the fruit must change. Your words are instruments of creation. The tongue is a rudder steering the ship of your life. When you speak words of lack, I can't afford this. I never have enough. Money always slips away. You carve channels in the subconscious, and those channels direct the flow of experience. But when you speak words of abundance, I am supplied from infinite sources. Money comes to me in perfect ways. I live in overflow. You carve new channels, and the flow of supply rushes to fill them. Words are not idle. They are commands to the universal field. Speak them with reverence, with conviction, with expectancy, and watch how quickly money follows. Understand also the law of focus. What you give your attention to expands. If you constantly measure lack, rehearse debts, dwell on unpaid bills, you enlarge them in consciousness, and so they multiply in form. But if you focus on supply, if you count blessings, if you rehearse visions of plenty, then you enlarge abundance in consciousness, and it multiplies in form. The universe does not discriminate between negative or positive attention. It simply expands what you focus upon. Guard your attention as you would a priceless jewel. Place it deliberately on wealth, on gratitude, on generosity, and the law ensures that more of these things appear. The law of energy is inseparable from all of this. You are energy. Money is energy. Everything vibrates. When your energy is low, when you live in despair, doubt, resentment, you emit a frequency that repels prosperity. But when your energy is high, when you radiate joy, expectancy, creativity, you emit a frequency that magnetizes prosperity. Raise your vibration, and money has no choice but to follow. This is not superstition, it is resonance. Just as a tuning fork causes another of the same pitch to vibrate, so too does your vibration cause matching experiences to appear. The vibration of abundance exists eternally. When you vibrate in harmony with it, wealth sings back to you. Do not underestimate the law of receptivity. Many call for wealth yet remain closed to receiving. They doubt their worth, they block blessings with guilt, they dismiss opportunities that arrive in unexpected form. To receive, you must be open. You must say, yes, I am worthy. Yes, I am ready. Yes, I receive from infinite channels. Worthiness is not something you earn. It is your birthright. The universe longs to pour wealth into your life, but you must stretch out your hands without shame, without doubt, without resistance. To resist receiving is to refuse the very good you asked for. To receive freely is to honor the law. The law of substitution is another mighty key. When negative thoughts of lack intrude, do not wrestle with them endlessly. Instead, substitute. Replace the thought instantly with a higher one. When you think, I cannot afford this, substitute, I am abundantly supplied, and the right provision appears. When you think, money is hard to earn, substitute, money flows to me easily. As a natural expression of my alignment. The law of substitution is the art of reprogramming. Every time you replace a thought of lack with a thought of abundance, you rewire the subconscious, and in time, the new thought becomes the dominant pattern. The law ensures that your outer world adjusts accordingly. Now, let us turn inward toward the law of stillness. In stillness, you connect with the infinite supply directly. When you quiet the mind, when you still the restless chatter of doubt, you open the channel of intuition. Intuition is the voice of the law within you. It guides you to the right action, the right opportunity, the right timing. Many block their supply by running endlessly in frantic effort, believing money comes by force. But in stillness, the path of ease is revealed. The law does not require toil. It requires alignment. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, open your heart, and listen. You will feel the nudge, the whisper, the idea. And when you follow it, supply unfolds naturally. There is also the law of vision. Without vision, money has no direction to follow. Vision is the map you hand to the universe. It says, this is the form in which abundance shall express. Create your vision clearly. See the home you desire, the freedom you seek, the ways you wish to bless others. See it vividly, with emotion, with joy, as though it is already true. Hold it until it becomes real within, and then the law cannot help but make it real without. Money follows vision, because vision is the seed from which form sprouts. Without vision, money dissipates. With vision, it multiplies to fulfill its purpose. Beloved, money is not separate from spirit. It is not profane, it is not dirty, it is not a worldly distraction unless you make it so. It is simply condensed energy, a tool, a symbol of exchange. To reject money as unspiritual is to misunderstand spirit. Spirit expresses through all forms, including the form of money. To welcome money with reverence, with clarity, with love, is to welcome spirit in yet another garment. When you see money as divine substance made visible, you cease to struggle against it, and instead allow it to serve its rightful role to support, to expand, to create, to uplift. Every act of alignment with these laws magnifies the flow. When you give joyfully, you circulate wealth. When you receive with gratitude, you invite more. When you imagine vividly, you impress form. When you speak clearly, you command substance. When you rest in faith, you magnetize effortlessly. The law works in perfect precision, whether you know it or not. The choice is whether to work with it consciously or against it unconsciously. Work with it, and wealth becomes inevitable. Resist it, and lack persists until you awaken. And now let us walk even further into the depth of understanding. For to grasp these truths not merely with the intellect, but with the whole heart is to unlock the treasury of heaven that has been waiting for you since before time began. Money, wealth, abundance, they are not foreign to your nature, they are your nature expressed in form. You are born of infinite supply, and infinite supply cannot give birth to limitation. The limitation is only in thought, only in belief, only in the shadow of separation you may have carried. When that shadow dissolves in light, the natural state of wealth appears, as effortless as the sunrise. The law of correspondence whispers again, the outer is but the mirror of the inner. And so, to demand money without shifting inner consciousness is like demanding a reflection in the mirror without changing the object before it. If you stand frowning before the mirror and cry, "Smile, smile," the reflection will not change. But the moment you smile, the reflection smiles back instantly. So it is with wealth. When within you vibrate as abundance, the world cannot help but reflect it. The mirror is flawless. It always returns what it sees. Now understand the law of expectancy. Expectation is the bridge between faith and manifestation. When you expect lack, you prepare for it, and the law obliges. When you expect abundance, you prepare for it, and the law obliges. Expectancy is faith in motion. It is the readiness to receive, the inner certainty that good is already on its way. A farmer who plants seeds does not walk away doubting. He expects a harvest. He waters, he tends, he prepares barns for increase, and so must you. When you affirm abundance, but still live as though lack is inevitable, you create division. But when you expect supply so fully that your actions align, when you prepare the way, then the law rushes to deliver what you are ready to receive. There is also the law of balance. Money will not flow into chaos without correction. If your life is cluttered with resentment, disorder, unresolved energies, then money may arrive, but it will flee as quickly, for the law demands harmony. Order your inner and outer world. Clear your environment, bring balance to your relationships, align your actions with integrity. For money is not only drawn to vibration, it is sustained by alignment. Many receive sudden wealth yet lose it swiftly, because the inner state was not congruent with the outer increase. But when balance reigns, when integrity is your foundation, money flows in and stays, multiplying with ease. The law of service is equally powerful. Money flows to where value is created. When you serve, when you uplift, when you contribute to the expansion of others, you align with the law that governs increase. True wealth is never selfish, it expands outward. If you withhold your gifts, if you shrink from contribution, you constrict the channel of flow. But when you pour forth your talents, when you allow yourself to be a vessel of blessing, the law ensures that wealth circulates back to you, pressed down and running over. Service is not servitude. It is creative expression. It is giving your essence to the world, and money follows gladly. Now reflect upon the law of non-resistance. Resistance blocks the stream. The moment you fight against what is, the moment you curse bills, resent obligations, or rage against circumstances, You harden your vibration, and money turns aside. But when you release resistance, when you bless every situation, when you say, all is well, and good comes from this too, you soften the vibration, and the flow returns. Bills are not curses. They are signs that value has been given, and as you bless them, you invite multiplied return. Resistance says no to life. Non-resistance says yes. And the law always flows where yes is spoken. And let us not forget the law of faith in action. Faith is not passive, it moves. It inspires steps, it guides choices, it stirs the heart to act in alignment. To wait idly, hoping money will fall from the sky while you remain frozen, is not faith. It is doubt disguised. Faith takes steps. Faith invests in the vision, speaks the word boldly, walks into opportunities with confidence. The law responds not only to thought, but to action infused with belief. Every act you take in alignment with abundance is a signal to the universe. I am ready. And the universe, bound by law, delivers. The law of forgiveness also shapes the flow of money. Resentment is heavy. It clogs the channel of supply. When you hold grudges, when you cling to bitterness, your vibration lowers, and abundance cannot enter freely. Forgive not to excuse, but to release. Forgive to clear the channel. Say, I release all into the hands of divine law. I free myself from bondage. The moment forgiveness takes root, energy rises, vibration lifts, and the stream of abundance flows once more. Many who lived in scarcity found sudden increase after releasing long-held bitterness, for the channel had finally been cleared. Beloved, money is not a test. It is a teacher. It shows you where you are aligned and where you resist. It reflects your faith, your gratitude, your clarity, your balance. It is neither enemy nor tyrant. It is messenger. Listen to it. When money flows, it affirms your alignment. When it halts, it invites correction. Either way, it is serving your growth. Welcome it, bless it, learn from it. The law ensures that nothing arrives without purpose. And now, the law of multiplication, whatever you place energy upon grows. If you take a little and treat it with reverence, it expands. If you take much and treat it with fear, it contracts. The widow who blessed her last measure of oil saw it multiply until it overflowed. This is not myth, it is law. Treat every coin, every dollar, as sacred substance, as divine energy and form, and it cannot help but increase. Neglect it, despise it, curse it, and it slips away. Multiplication follows reverence. What you bless, blesses you. Hear this too, the law of joy. Joy is the high vibration where abundance thrives. When you live in joy, you magnetize. When you live in dread, you repel. Money loves joy. It flows to those who celebrate life, who delight in creation, who give thanks with laughter. Joy is not shallow cheer. It is deep recognition of life's goodness. Cultivate joy, and money cannot stay away. For joy is the vibration of heaven itself, and all wealth belongs to that vibration. Beloved souls, these are not distant ideals. They are the living blueprint of reality. You are never outside the law. You are the law expressed. Money follows spiritual laws, and you are the very consciousness through which those laws are made visible. The moment you align, the moment you believe, the moment you assume, the moment you rejoice, the flow begins. It cannot be otherwise, for the law is unfailing. And so, beloved ones, let us seal this truth with the certainty that cannot be shaken. Money is not a master to be feared, nor an idol to be worshipped, but a faithful servant that responds with precision to the spiritual laws you embody. It is not capricious, it is not unfair, it is not limited. It flows in harmony with the laws of gratitude, of faith, of vision, of generosity, of receptivity, of joy. It reflects your consciousness as faithfully as the mirror reflects your face. To live in alignment with these laws is to step into effortless abundance. Struggle dissolves, fear dissolves, and you remember who you truly are. An extension of infinite intelligence, a vessel of divine supply, a radiant magnet for all good. The outer forms of wealth may shift, but the source never does, for the source is eternal and it is within you. Hold fast, then, to the truth that as you think, so you create, as you believe, so you receive. As you radiate, so you magnetize. Abundance is not waiting for you in some distant future. It is here, now, ready to reveal itself the moment you align. Walk in faith, walk in clarity, walk in joy, and you will find that money follows you as naturally as your shadow in the sun. This is the law, this is the promise, and this is the destiny of every soul that dares to believe abundance without end, supply without limit, wealth that overflows and blesses, not only you but all whose lives you touch. Step into that truth, claim it with your whole being, and know that from this moment forward, the spiritual laws of the universe are working for you through you and as you. You are abundance. You are supply. You are wealth expressed. And so it is. Would you like me to also generate a timestamp outline? Plaxa hashtags, tags for this speech, like I did for your other video scripts, so you can directly use it for content creation.